was premature. Yes, Bobby. You should definitely cat down in the fire water. I wonder what a hell shot is. I bet it's spicy. It sounds like hot. I don't want that. I don't want to drink that. My son, at his new job, they have legit bartenders there. And, they're, like, you watch them because what they do with the drinks, it's just entertaining. And I was watching one of the ladies bartend last night. Oh, man, she was so good. She was so good. It's so nice watching a great bartender, flip the bottles and shake the drinks the exact right way. Skills I will never have. I can sling drinks all night long, but I'll never be able to do that. No, thank you. I mean, I'll take the whiskey. Yeah, yes, sir. But you don't need to put nothing. I don't understand it. Food is so lovely, and it makes you feel good. Why in the world would you want it to be painful? Why do people eat hot stuff? I do not eat anything spicy. Anything that burns me, I do not want to eat that. Nothing. Horseradish sauce is too much for me. I ate a Dorito once that almost killed me. Sometimes root beer is a little too much for me. But that's just recently. It didn't like that. It wasn't like that growing up. I didn't eat hot, spicy food, but I could eat normal things and not be spicy. Now, even things slightly spicy, they just kill me. I love that movie, CJ. I love it. Yeah, it's not fun. Food is supposed to be enjoyable. Well, I guess it's not. Food is supposed to sustain you. You're supposed to eat to live, not live to eat. I got those mixed up a while ago, and I'm happy that way. All right, we're back to this weird probate case where we just went through 2 hours of it and have no idea what's going on.
Unfortunately, the hypothetical is proving water is wet sometimes. The fact of the matter, or a negative, the fact of the matter is, based on the records we've given and shared with the court, there is no indicia, scintilla of evidence that financially she has absconded or is somewhere else other than dead.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I am going to move on to law enforcement work that we have gone through in a very limited, Your Honor, because of the ongoing investigation and the protections under the statute with regards to ongoing investigations, only things for which we have queried and have worked through with this court. I want to first get into Detective Sergeant, the Secretary of State records. You've had an opportunity to look at the Secretary of State records. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And the Secretary of State records, what do they keep?
The Secretary of State would be the housing unit for any activity relating to your driver's license, the registration of vehicles, anything indicating your name or the like, essentially. And searching those records, we found no queries, no activity since her death on 4/25/21.
We had a analyst from the Michigan State Police come in and testify as related to her expert opinion and regarding records, Secretary of State records and the like. You being a trooper in your early stages of a road patrol trooper in your first 5 years, anytime you stop somebody, would you run a query on their driver's license or driver's plate?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And when you ran that query, if you did so with anybody in this courthouse today, anyone in this courthouse today, would it get a premature or some sort of stamp into the Secretary of State's or Law Enforcement Identification Network, any type of thing like that you stop this person?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And whether it's be for assisting someone on the side of the road with flat tire, you would run their license or the like. You're giving attention to someone in need, but you'd still run their license. Yes?
Essentially, any contact you have with a civilian, aside from saying hi and line at the gas station to buy coffee, if you're having contact with someone in your uniform, you're going to document their name in that fashion. That's correct.
And that would show up in a Secretary of State record or lien record.
That's correct.
I'm going to move to that lien record. People have misused that acronym, LEIN. Could you tell the court what that stands for?
That's lien is LEIN, Law Enforcement Information Network.
Okay. And what is this network?
Lien is slightly different than the Secretary of State records in fashion that it's tied with similar information, but also tied to more things of criminal nature. So if you have a personal protection order, a warrant, a warrant for your arrest, or something of similar stature.
Okay. And in this particular query, you actually came across, and we have the documents of domestic violence in this case?
Domestic violence relating to Dee Warner?
Yes. Where she was the victim of? Did you ever come across that?
I'm not familiar with that, sir, no.
Okay. Let me get into, and I'll show you the records. Let me get into the lien records as it relates to stopping somebody. If myself and any one of my colleagues were in a car and I was the driver and the passenger was there, and you ran a query on myself and also the passenger, would that query show up in the identification network?
Yes and no. That's kind of a marriage between the Secretary of State and lien records. But yes, there would be a digital thumbprint of that query being conducted. That's correct.
Okay. And in this particular case, in the investigation for which you observed, was there ever since April 24th/5th, ever any information that Dee Warner digital footprint in your inquiry ever showed up anywhere?
The only records that I observed were that of the initial responding agency running a query on her, just to get her basic horsepower, her basic information. Aside from that query, we can find no evidence that she's had any contact with law enforcement anywhere in the country.
Okay. Anywhere in the country?
That's correct.
So, and just so no one's confused here, the initial inquiry was by the Sheriff's Department back in the day she, obviously, from the day of her death, April 24th/5th. Yes?
Correct. And there have been
Mr.
some.
Your Honor, I'm just going to object. Mr. Flood keeps referring to the date of her death. This court has not made a determination on whether or not she's deceased. For the record and its purposes, I would ask Mr. Flood to label her missing. We know that she's missing, but we have not had a declaration of death yet.
I don't know if that's a legal objection.
I would object to him using that term, since it calls for a legal decision that hasn't been made yet.
Any response?
Yeah, I'm presuming she's dead. Why can't I say she's dead? I don't think there's any indicia that she's alive.
Well, that's an excellent legal argument, Mr. Flood, but it is also a legal decision for which I am listening to all of the proofs that are coming in on record today.
Okay.
So if you could.
I'll rephrase it, Your Honor. Let me ask you this: is there any doubt, question, thought in your mind that Dee Warner is dead?
The owner is dead, sir.
Okay. And you base that on your years of experience, your investigations of over thousands of cases.
Your Honor, I would ask non-leading questions.
Well, the rules of evidence, Judge, to the extent that they may or may not apply in the preliminary question of fact, really aren't applicable here. So,
Oh my God, this lawyer is driving me crazy. He's wrong. He's just continually wrong, and then he doubles down to be more wrong and loud.
you know,
Well, for purposes of expedient examination, direct examination, there are certain instances wherein leading questions are admissible. And I think this is one that is probably admissible. I mean, frankly, coming from the detective himself would be preferable to have his.
I'll ask you for, thank you. Thank you.
I will allow it if you wish.
No, I agree with you, Judge. I'd rather hear it from him than me. So you have just told the court, based on your years of experience, what your conclusion is. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Based off of my experience and that of my partner and the training that our department has given us, Dee Warner is deceased. Yes, sir.
Thank you. This you also work with the Secret Service in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in the Secret Service of this case, this is Exhibit 37. I need to. May I approach, Your Honor? I'm handing you Secret Service report. The Secret Service report, what good is that for the court?
This specific document, we solicited assistance from the Secret Service so they could conduct an international query at major border crossings, and also a query into any and all available facial recognition, essentially searching for Dee Warner or someone with her face, essentially traveling under a different name.
Okay. And what was the finding?
We were able to discover no results indicating the use of either of those things.
And oftentimes we see things on television shows, movies, and the like of this, but not in real life. Could you explain to the best of your ability what it is as far as facial recognition may go, and how it's used in your investigation?
I think the best way to shortly explain it, to my understanding, is if you imagine the most sophisticated version you've seen of facial recognition in a movie or on television, and then imagine that it doesn't exist at all. The current technology is probably somewhere at the 50-yard line. If that makes sense. So it has.
I think from what they just said, I think that this is a probate hearing to figure out, officially, that's not what the word, declare her dead since she's missing. So the judge is going to decide whether she's dead or not. And then they can split up her assets and the estate and everything. But again, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know why he's in jail. I wish I knew exactly why he was in jail. That would make me feel better. Also, because it's probate court, Michigan does not publish the opinions of the judges in probate court, especially in this county. So I do not have the verdict on this, and Michigan won't let me get it. We're going to have to deduce it from what we hear.
Accurately, in numerous cases, identified certain people However, it's not 100%. So is it possible that someone with her face traveled through a major border crossing and these devices did not pick her up? Yes, but it's possible, but not very plausible, if that makes sense, sir.
Yeah, so not plausible, if I understand it correctly.
Yes, and that would be in concert with the fact that she would have to have obtained a passable passport with a different name and different credentials on it. So the conjunction of those two things occurring are near zero, if not zero, sir.
Thank you. As far as the Secret Service and the international and national travel here within the United States and both abroad, the Secret Service through this reporting, did you find anything with regards to use of a passport or identification that she traveled via plane, train, or any type of craft?
No indication
Automobile.
whatsoever.
Oh,
no, sir.
oh, he's annoying. Oh, he's annoying.
Obviously, we're speaking post 425. naturally.
425.
Correct. Yeah, nothing post that. Yes, sir.
Did you find anything, well, just post 425,
Yes,
correct? Thank you. I wanted to briefly touch upon the phone records. There was some testimony about the phone records that were gone through at earlier times. That's exhibit number 31. Verizon phone records. It is a flash drive with a table, data table, and already admitted into evidence. As far as the Verizon phone records, did you have an opportunity to review those for which we subpoenaed?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell the court what you found?
Specifically for D's Verizon phone records, we saw, again, regular active activity leading up to 425 and then no activity after 425, with exception to 2 instances, which I can explain if you'd like.
Yes, at first describe the incidents and then second, explain what it is.
So months after 425, so I think during the fall months when the sheriff's department still was in charge of the investigation, there was activity on D. Warner's phone number. That activity was from Dale Warner with the permission of the sheriff's department, utilizing that phone for business reasons. So essentially, a phone was purchased somewhere, her phone number and credentials were put back on that device for use of the business. That device was then seized as part of our investigation. Several months went by and that same exact activity happened again. So there has been activity on the phone number, but that is a reflection of Dale Warner and or the business, not a reflection of D. Warner utilizing it.
And that's at the direction of the sheriff's department.
I'm sorry, sir?
And that was at the direction of the sheriff's department.
What was the direction of the sheriff's department?
I guess I'm misunderstanding your testimony and
Well,
we'll have an opportunity to
yeah.
cross-examine you, but just for clarification purposes, you said that her phone number was put on a new phone utilized by Dale Warner for the purposes of the sheriff's department. In other words, to probably download her account.
Judge, I don't hear an objection.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
I didn't understand the testimony.
Well, he has an opportunity to
Trying to save time.
cross and then, yeah, well, you're taking up time. So the judge, she doesn't
We will have an
understand.
opportunity to cross-examine. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Lee.
So I don't want to get anybody confused here. You and your investigation, just so I'm clear, D. Warner did not personally use, obviously, since the time of 425 they're on her phone, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
And the number ultimately that when you saw activity, if I understood it correctly, maybe I'm wrong, was that one time was used by Dale with the permission of the sheriff's department.
Yes, sir, some iteration of that essentially. But
Yeah, okay. And then subsequently, later, the use of the number for the business with Dale Warner.
But was it on her exact phone or was it a phone that was purchased for him to
Okay,
use?
Mr. Lee, do you have an objection?
I'm just confused, Judge.
Well, that's not hard to explain.
Mr. Flood,
Oh,
Thank you.
smack him.
your next question.
Smack
What was
him.
Your question?
Yeah, I know, what was it I was asking? The question was that of the
Kelly.
phone usage, you
Hi,
in your
Kelly.
investigation,
I'm sorry you've been sick.
was
Thank you. Thank you.
Dale Warner using that number. Not the phone, but the number, correct?
that's correct.
Thank you. As it relates to the phone usage, you did not, in your investigation, ever find a second number or a usage of a second phone by D. Warner. Is that fair?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. We, you're familiar with, obviously, the Michigan Department of Corrections.
I am, yes, sir.
Okay, and the Michigan Department of Corrections has a website where you can find offenders, or another acronym is OTIS. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And in your law enforcement review, did you look upon the Michigan Department of Corrections to see if there was, whether or not Ms. Warner was somehow, some way mistaken to be in the Michigan Department of Corrections or jail?
And nationally, yes, sir. And that was a no result also.
In your legal, or in the law portion of my questions now, we touched upon this earlier about this small business loan through the SBA over 7 figures. You remember us talking about that in your legal
over $1
investigation
million
for records for which we
small
subpoenaed?
business
Yes, sir.
loan.
I want to touch in on that just briefly and ask you some questions. Do you know approximately when that loan was attempted to be made?
I couldn't tell you the exact date, but it was well after 4/25/21.
Okay, and you came to find out, in fact, that that was not D. Warner attempting to get that loan.
That is my understanding, that's correct.
Okay, did you look at the documents in that case?
I did.
And what did you discover in the documents as related to that loan?
There were numerous things submitted to the SBA for the loan itself, including D. Warner's signature.
Man,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you so much. 13 months. Yay. Thank you. God, I hope this attorney's done. He's annoying.
Judge, we submitted to the court the previous, I think it was the power of attorney.
I do have. Do you know which exhibit it would have been?
Mel, thank you.
Is it an additional one?
Thank you, Mel. Thank you. 15 months.
36, Your Honor.
Indicates in the book live testimony, and I did discover when I went through your exhibits that anytime that was referenced, there isn't actually an exhibit in the book.
Because
There
he
is,
sucks as a lawyer.
So,
I think what it was is
He is a shitty lawyer. Period.
through the expert that showed us why it was forged, Your Honor, and that probably came through the last bit of testimony.
Why is the judge looking for this? If he wants to submit evidence, he submits evidence with a number on it so that they can reference it. That's how that works.
well, just to be clear, all I have under tab 36
It is live testimony?
that says exhibit 36, and then a page that says live testimony.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm sorry, I gave you my page 6. Yeah, and on page 6,
I have a signed affidavit of Amy Alexander as petitioner's number 40. MSP request for information is 42. 43 is a curriculum vitae. 44 is a forensic document examination report. 45 is a loan operating agreement, and 46 was the transcript, many of which I don't actually have in front of me. They haven't actually been properly mentioned.
those 4 were, but okay.
46 has
No,
happened.
not-
I have 40 and I have 44.
You have 40, that's the loan.
40 is the affidavit of Amy Alexander. 44 is the forensic document examination report. I can double check. We have a number of boxes in this file at lunch, but I just wanted to let you know.
Okay,
That's what I have
thank you,
at
Judge.
the moment.
Thank you, thank you.
Your Honor, is the court plan to take a break anytime soon?
We can. I'm sure we're gonna have some cross-examination of this particular witness. Is this a good time? Ladies
Sure.
and gentlemen, take a few minutes.
Come on.
We've been going for this.
All right, so we'll take a recess. Back by
Okay, let's get the next one. And while I'm finding the next one, we'll have a chat. So, it might have been an OJ. A couple nights ago, my son, they were going to call an ambulance for him at work. He's fine, don't worry about it. He's perfectly fine. Well, I bought him new knives for work because he works in a kitchen and they're very sharp. So he lost a little blood, got woozy, and thought he was going to pass out. And they were like, oh, if you pass out, we're calling an ambulance. And he said, don't you dare call an ambulance. I can't afford an ambulance. And they were like, nah, don't worry about it. It's all workers' comp. But I would have been pissed if they would have called an ambulance. Oh man. Oh, I would have been mad. Well, good news. Our ambulance was just defunded. So we only have an ambulance in my area for 28 more days. And then no more ambulance because it was defunded. So now I don't have to worry about anybody calling an ambulance on him. Because the closest ambulance is so far away. Oh my gosh, come on. This lady has a lot of cases. Here we go. Nope. I'm at them. I just got to get the right one. 2205243 ML. Here we go. Permit case 2252433ML. Some have a 052 and some have a 52. And that's the last one. So, I think we might have an answer because there's a bunch of them and then there's one weeks later. So that's good. And this is the next one. I will open an ambulance business. That's a great idea. I'll charge $10,000 a ride like a proper Christian.
I apologize, Judge. I just received this. This was the document for which it says live testimony. It's the power of attorney.
Oh, so I missed that.
36.
That's correct. You've had the opportunity at some point in time in this investigation to review the power of attorney. Is that accurate? That allegedly, or that was forged according to experts in this case? You've had that opportunity?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in that that you've seen, I'm just putting the pages together here so they're not out of order. This would be exhibit number 16. And Judge, may I approach?
May.
Thank you. I'm handing you pages. This is being of 16. If I don't know, we can or can't pull it up on the screen for to see. Yeah. I'm handing you 2 pages that's basically identical. Do you note that or see that?
I do. One is just an enlarged version of the other, correct?
Okay. And as it relates to that exhibit 16, is this in reference to what was being used to ascertain a loan, this document after April 25th, 2021?
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
Okay. And in your understanding,
Excuse me, Your Honor. May I approach with this order? It's signed by everybody.
Any objection?
no, it's nothing to do with me. So
No, it doesn't, but it might be the key is to a jail supplement.
Mr. Fullerman, any objection to me reviewing the proposed order?
No,
Have
Your
you had a
Honor.
chance? Okay, thank you. You may.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll have a look at that. And Mr. Flood, you're referencing exhibit 36, is that right? Proposed exhibit 36?
no, we've already admitted to it, Judge. None of them are proposed. They're all been stipulated to.
Well, I don't have it, so
I'm going to give it to you.
I just wanted to make sure I still knew what we were talking about.
You're right, though. That's the power of attorney. Where at one time we said live, we had to wait for the expert.
I thought I had heard you reference exhibit 16, so I just wanted to make sure I was
I'm sorry.
clear on which.
I apologize. As it relates to, and you can see D. Warner, you have no dispute, would you, with regards to the expert opinion that this is a forged signature? You'd have no dispute to that.
That's correct. But again, I was not here for that testimony. Yeah.
No, I understand. But I just want to make sure that it is your understanding that it was this document and this power of attorney that was being used in your investigation, you came to find out, to ascertain a loan after she went missing.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Thank you. One second, Your Honor. You're aware of the billboard activity, that campaign that took place in this case, is it related D for Justice, D. Warner for Justice, and the like? Yes?
Yes.
You're also aware of a website that was taken on for D. Warner and missing, fair?
Yes, sir.
And also there was publications you're aware of that were placed in the paper for D. Warner missing, yes?
Yes, sir.
In any of those publications, was there anything or any information that, I'll strike that. Did D. Warner ever call you or call Michigan State Police to tell you, hey, I'm alive based on these publications, you can stop looking for me?
No, sir.
Anyone call you and tell you based on those publications, hey, I have her, if you want her, give me X amount of money?
No, sir.
And did anyone on those publications give you any other clue, tip, investigative tool other to persuade you to something other than your opinion she's dead?
No.
Your Honor, I have marked, well, I did have marked the exhibits that were up here a moment ago. And I will tender to the courts the exhibits of the medical examiner's reports of each one that this witness has identified and testified to.
Okay, which one specifically are we talking about?
We are talking about 6 through 15. 15 goes through live testimony, but we do in fact have the Wayne County Medical Examiner's reports. We're talking about the 18, 19, all the way through, Your Honor, 31. We also tendered already, for the record, 37, 36, I just marked, and referenced earlier was the ONU financial report supplemental. I can
All right, Mr. Flood, I do not have documents in support of your proposed exhibit 10, proposed exhibit 15, or proposed exhibit 36.
Okay,
It would appear the rest of the exhibits that you just referenced are in the book.
you're right. Here is 10. That's the Wayne County Medical Examiner's office.
Thank you.
You got it?
Good games.
I'm sorry. Yep. 10 and 15 are the same, Your Honor.
All right.
One's Jane Doe. Oh, I'm sorry. Once I give it. Judge,
Yes. Just as.
this is 10 and 15. This is the other part. That's,
The record should reflect I'm handing back the documents that have been provided. Some of them appear to correspond to 10 and some do not. I received, for the
that's-
record, a singular document entitled Warrants, the Evans Wayne County Executive, date 5/11/23, acknowledgement of individual, or some of the words on the page. Is this what you want me to receive for 10?
that is, yes, Your Honor, that 10, just so you know, there's two different ways to do this. There's the 10 that deals with the Jane Doe, and, I'm sorry, 10 is D. Warner, and 15, Your Honor, is the Wayne County Jane Doe. So when the trooper, and when we subpoenaed these records for this, for the trooper to testify to, he wanted to look at it in two ways. One, to show there's no one that ever matched her identification and no one that ever matched D. Warner specifically. So there wasn't a Jane Doe. So we had to do it cumbersome, but we had to do it both ways with each medical examiner.
I heard all of his testimony. I was well aware that you
Great. So,
acted that way.
yeah, great. Thanks. I have both those exhibits. Unfortunately, this is Washington. That's Washington.
Do you have a document that you would like me to receive in support of named Exhibit 15?
Yes, Your Honor, it's right here. I see that 10. See that?
You may approach.
Thanks.
So, get a better copy, just blur that on the order.
Judge, I'll submit it. Attorney, I'll have it submitted. Let me just get, because there's a blur here as far as reading the name. So let me get a better document for you, if you don't mind.
It's up to you.
No, that's what I want to do. I want to give you something better to see.
All right, so the record should reflect then that I do not have documents in support of 10 or 15 or 36 at this point.
Thank you. I will get the better copies of that printout for you, Your Honor. Last one you said was 30 MDOC. I do have in fact 30 MDOC.
36.
No, you just said, no, you just had the MDOC. That's Michigan.
Oh, I think I just saw the verdict to this. Not really, sort of. Oh my
okay.
gosh.
No, I apologize. MDOC was live testimony. That was the Michigan Department of Corrections. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no other questions at this time.
Okay. Cross-examination, Mr. Lee?
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't get sick. Just don't. You have a choice.
Detective Sergeant, I'm Larry Lieb. I'm going to try to keep my voice up. I have a tendency to talk softly. I'm not sure why, but I'll try to keep my voice up. I'm continuously reminded of that. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You and I met before, right?
Sure have.
We've had conversations for approximately over a year and a half. Is that true?
I'm not certain the first time I spoke to you, sir, but no, it will be at least a year in December. So yeah.
Okay. I believe you testified earlier, you became involved in the investigation in March of 2022. Is that right?
Roughly, yeah, thereabouts.
And within a few days of your becoming involved, you and I had a conversation. Is that fair?
Honestly, sir, I'm not disputing, I just don't recall.
Okay, that's fair enough. But you don't dispute that you and I have had many conversations over this case over the course of the last year and a half. Is that true?
At least a few, yes, sir.
And I have been approachable for whatever you have asked for, including producing Mr. Warner for any interviews that you've asked. Is that true?
Fair enough, yes, sir.
I have also, in the course of representing Mr. Warner, given you essentially carte blanche to visit his home, his office, his fields, his barns, his equipment, for anything and everything that you've asked for. Is that true?
I'm not certain I've asked you for any of those things, sir.
I haven't denied it, right? And you've been working with the sheriff's department, I guess, since you began this case, and I never denied it to them either. But you'll agree with me, I haven't denied you, or Mr. Warner has never denied you access to anything. Is that true?
That's not true.
Okay. When have we ever denied you access to anything?
He denied me access to at least one electronic device that became a topic of debate in person.
Okay. Did it contain any financial information or anything that we need to produce it for?
It contains numerous things.
Okay, what was it?
It was a cellular phone.
And do you know whose phone it was?
It was in the possession of Dale Warner.
Okay, do you know who owned the phone or what it was about? Was it his daughter's phone?
No, it was Dale Warner's phone or a phone that he used.
Have you ever sought a search warrant for that phone?
We had a search warrant for that phone.
Okay, and you did download it though, didn't you?
That specific phone, yes, sir.
Okay. So there's nothing that we haven't provided either voluntarily or through a search warrant. Is that true?
Judge, a search warrant, that's a misnomer. I object to the mischaracterization. Search warrant's a command by a court, not by.
Okay, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. You can say it. Y'all could have said it yesterday when I said it out loud. They can't be in jail for murdering her because this is the probate court to declare her dead. So if she hasn't been declared dead yet, they can't be in jail for murder. So that's not why they're in jail. Right. We still don't know why though.
Mr. Leeds' permission.
You're welcome to cross-examine. Thank you.
Come on.
Would you agree, Detective, that you and I have had an open, free-flowing discussion about this case and we have worked together on this?
I don't know if that's an accurate representation, no, sir.
Okay.
You suck as a lawyer, dude. You just do.
When you became involved with the Lenawee County Sheriff's Department, how did that begin? Did they call you or did you just, as a Michigan State Trooper, involve yourself?
Oh, no, sir, I was
That's a
contacted.
damn good
I'm not certain
guess.
if I was contacted directly or if it
That's
was
a
my website.
Dumbledore type
Nonetheless,
guess.
I was directed at their request to come and aid them.
Were you specifically or the Michigan State Police and then you were assigned the project?
Oh, I'm nowhere near that special, sir, just my department.
Okay.
Honey, you're
And you were
special.
assigned the project and you have a partner that's working with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's your partner?
Detective Sergeant Scott Singleton.
And I have met with Scott Singleton and yourself, at least on one occasion, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that was with Mr. Warner?
That's accurate.
Have you and Mr. Sergeant Singleton worked exclusively together on this case, or have you handled a portion and he has a portion?
He and I are both investigating different aspects, but both have a working knowledge of each other's work. Does that make sense?
Fair enough. You're coming together, but you're handling a portion, he's handling a portion, but you're under the same umbrella.
That's accurate, yes, sir.
And has he been involved in this investigation as long as you have?
Yes, sir.
How many times have you visited Mr. Warren's property?
Are you referring to where the residence is, the Munger Road property,
We're
or?
gonna go through all of the residents.
This is a kind of an estimate of 4 or 5, maybe somewhere in there, sir.
Okay.
There may have been other times that I have been near there, but not physically stopped at the residence, so I'm not sure what that total number is.
Okay. And how many times have you been to his office? Same amount of times?
Roughly, yes, sir.
How about the barns and the fields in the area around his office? Same.
Roughly. There may have been times I visited the office, but not the fields perhaps, but in other words, I may have gone directly to the office and left without going through a field necessarily.
And when you have visited his home or his office or the barns or the fields, have you come into contact with Dale Warner?
Yes.
Okay. Have you come into contact with Mark Weisberg?
Not there. No, I believe the only time I've contacted Mark Weisberg in person may have been in this building. I don't think I've seen him at the property personally. I may have. No, I don't think I have.
Who else did you come into contact with at the home, office, whatever, that would have provided you information?
Outside of police personnel?
Yes.
Todd and Eric.
Who is that?
Wrong button.
He works at the farm.
Okay.
I think for Laidlaw now, but he was an employee of theirs at the time.
Okay.
And Dale Warner's daughters.
Okay.
I think I may have come in contact with his mother once there.
Okay.
I'm sure there's someone I'm forgetting, sir, but that's the best of my knowledge now.
Fine. In the course of your investigation, have you spoken to each of these individuals?
Yes,
Have they provided information concerning your investigation?
yes.
Have they provided financial records?
Some of them.
Tina, are you talking
Okay.
about this
In other words,
case?
you went to Mr. Warner's office and asked for financial records, they provided them to you, is that true?
I'm not sure they provided me financial records at his office.
Where would they have provided them to you?
They
When you
probably
say
provided them
found,
to Detective Sergeant
What do
Singleton,
you
and I'm not
mean,
certain where that was, to be
found?
forthright.
I'm scared to
Okay.
ask.
But in your conversations with Sergeant Singleton, you're aware that they've provided
Dead
that?
or alive?
That's correct. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you're getting at. Yeah, we've definitely received them. That's what you're asking. Yeah.
Yes. And has Mr. Weisberg provided you documents concerning the businesses?
Yeah, and after the same time, when you're saying you mean the investigation?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. And when did he provide you the documents?
I'm not certain on that. It's been some time, sir. And there may have been more than one collection, so I couldn't even estimate because they weren't delivered to me. It was my partner. I'm not certain when that was.
Okay, but in concert with your partner, they were over a year ago, is that true?
If you say so,
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Did Mr. Warner and Mr. Weisberg provide you financial records of all of the Warner companies along with their personal financial records?
I'm not sure to what extent we had their personal financial records, but there was definitely records for the businesses. That's correct.
Do you recall them producing QuickBooks downloads and passwords for other investigators?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Do you know who ran Dee Warner's office while she was working there?
Do I know who what? I'm sorry?
Do you know the structure of who ran Dee Warner's office while she was working there?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay, and who was that?
It was a collection of Dee Warner, her son, Zach, and Stephanie. The specific hands-on for quote unquote running the office is kind of convoluted, but I'm sure Todd had a hand in some of those responsibilities also.
Did Dale Warner have any hand in it at all, that you know?
I'm sure there were some responsibilities that he had, but my understanding is he was typically out farming. That was his primary role.
Now, you mentioned that there was a collection of people there. Do you know what their roles were and what they were responsible for doing specifically?
Yeah, I'd like to object. I'm not sure what the relevance of this line of questioning is.
Adjourn in the objection, Judge.
Because they asked for financial records, they produced them, and there's been some allegation here that there's been some problems with missing money. There was an allegation earlier that was $125,000 missing from the Yo and Yo audit, trying to get to that and where it happened. I just want to know who was responsible for that. And I'm asking the detective if he knows.
This was asked and answered on direct, but it's your cross-examination, so you're allowed to re-ask those questions. You may
Thank you.
proceed, the
Thank you.
objection's overruled.
Thank you. Was Zach Bach responsible for doing payroll and handling most of the finances with Dee Warner?
I believe that was in concert with her, but I think he was assuming many of those roles, yes, sir.
Okay. And he was a signer on all the accounts.
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
Did you come to find out that there was a diversion of money from Dee Warner to Zach Bach to purchase a home?
Yes,
Okay. And when was that done?
I couldn't tell you, sir, the exact date.
Okay.
I believe it, I didn't want to venture a guess, I'm sorry.
Did you discover in your investigation that Zach Bach was responsible for writing checks to his mother after the date of her disappearance?
That Zach was writing checks to his mother from her day of disappearance. I am not privy to that.
Does anybody remember his name? The husband, the one in jail. His first name. Not the one in the newspaper.
Briefly, Judge.
Wow,
Man.
there is
Judge, I don't have
no
what,
delay on Twitch.
Mr. Lee is referring
I
to in my
mean,
hands.
in
I don't know what
this
he wants to
case
first.
that we're watching, because
This is a,
I'll tell you why.
BDW Investments.
There's a few things about the Dee Warner case that I'm looking at that doesn't fit this case right. The timeline, the ruling, it doesn't fit. So I know Dale is the husband in the Dee Warner case in the news, because you just told me that, and I looked and I saw it. So I need to know if that man right there, if his name is Dale, the one we're looking at right now, because if it is, this is the information I have and the information the news has are different and doesn't make sense. You'll see.
Summary. It came right out of the book. It was a check. It was produced
Produced by whom?
by the bank.
Yeah, sure. it's not
If
yours.
his name is Dale,
No, it's written to her,
Yeah,
but that's,
then they found her body 3 years later
Your Honor, I would ask
inside
for more foundation. I don't believe.
I don't know how to pronounce this, I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. Inside a anhydrous ammonia fertilizer tank on his property. Anhydrous? Was that close enough? So, we're going to be waiting to see if anybody addresses these two right here to see if either of them are Dale. You think it was Dale? Okay. And he was charged with murder before the body was found. But this right here, oh, no, there's no case. This right here is just to declare her dead because she's missing. So this was 2 years ago, this case. She wasn't found until 24, I think. No, 21. Yeah, somewhere in 2024. And this probate was over in 2024. He was arrested in 2023 and charged with murder and tampering with evidence. So he is in jail for murder before they declare her dead. This is just crazy.
That this witness testified as to specific bank records or checks that he reviewed in his investigation.
And furthermore, Your Honor, I agree with the foundational aspect. This is alleged or purported to be someone's signature on here. I don't have any of that information. And you'd have to first lay a foundation to submit that. And
I was prepared to do that. That's what I was gonna do and show him the document.
well,
Sorry, Mr. Flood, you're.
Couldn't
What are you
hear you.
apologizing for, Justin?
I couldn't hear you.
I said, I think you're jumping the gun. I'm just gonna ask the detective sergeant a question. If he knows, he knows. If he doesn't know, he doesn't.
I think
well,
those would have to be asked before you can present him the document.
You can have a look at the document and go from there.
Oh, the daughter testifies that he was stalking her, putting tracking devices on her, and domestic violence.
Have you ever seen those documents, detective?
I've seen numerous checks that are similar to this, sir. I can't speak to seeing this one specifically prior to right now.
Okay, so you are familiar with the fact that there were checks written to Dee Warner after her disappearance?
well, no, Judge, I object to it. We don't know the date those are written. We don't know the dates, just because it says that, we don't know. So I object to the form of the question. And he has laid a foundation for that purpose.
So, help me understand, Mr. Lee, why it's important to note that there were checks that were issued after her disappearance.
Well, Judge, if there were checks issued after the date of her disappearance by her son or anyone else that was working in the office, that would account for why there was $125,000 missing.
How does that help me understand that that's part of the amount of money that's missing?
We don't necessarily know where the money is. We don't know that it was done in cash or whatever.
Actually, this
Judge, I believe-
detective sergeant has already testified to that. So if you have some cross-examination on that point, I'm happy to listen to that, but.
That might be for another day, Judge. I'll move on.
Ms. Berger, did you have something you wanted to add?
Nothing additional, Judge. Thank you.
Detective, I want to just get back to your interviewing the people that worked in the office. Did you interview everybody that was working there at the time that Dee went missing?
They have numerous employees, if you're referring to specific people that were working in the office at that time.
Mhm.
Myself and my partner, between the two of us, have interviewed all of them. Yes, sir.
And it could be just questions about, hey, do you know what happened to her? And on, right?
That's accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in your investigation at the Warner property, did you ever find Deanne Warner?
No.
Did you ever find anything that would reflect Deanne Warner, such as a body, a hair
He's saying Deanne, not Dan. His name's not Dan yet, just so you know.
follicle, anything of her person.
Judge, unfortunately, there is a shield of protection for an ongoing investigation by the Michigan State Police and the FBI and the Sheriff's Department pursuant to both statute and case law, that he's not allowed to divulge anything is actually could come into consequence of trouble if he did divulge an ongoing investigation criminal, unless it was previously marked and subpoenaed information from and through this court. He can't get into an ongoing case. And if the court needs the body of case law on that, in civil proceedings, he actually would get in trouble for a violation of getting into his findings of anything regarding DNA, the like.
Okay, Mr. Flood, I'll move on. No problem, Judge. I withdraw that question. You did not find Miss Warner physically, though, did you?
Correct.
Okay. And you have, to this day, over 2 years later, she's still missing.
I don't know
correct?
why that lawyer
Correct.
backed down
Nobody that
right
you
there.
know of, whether it was the Lenawee County Sheriff Department, the Michigan State Police, the FBI, the international network that you testified to earlier, nobody's been able to find her. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, you've been called to testify today because of your background and because of your experience, and I get that, and you have a wealth of experience, and I appreciate that. But as you sit here today, your testimony that she's deceased is your opinion. Is that true?
That is the findings of my investigation.
Okay. And the findings of your investigation are downloads from law enforcement websites, such as the Law Enforcement Information Network, correct?
I'm sorry.
That is a part of your, what forms your opinion is that there's been no activity on the law enforcement network.
A piece of it, yes, sir.
Okay. And help me, detective, if she hasn't been arrested and she hasn't had any contact with law enforcement at all, she wouldn't be on that lien, would she? The only things that are, you testified earlier, the only things that are in a lien are when you have contact with the police, right? Or some form of law enforcement.
Correct.
Okay. Likewise, the Secretary of State, if there isn't an issue with her driver's license and it didn't need to be renewed and she hadn't been stopped by a law enforcement officer and assessed points, and she hadn't gone to register a business or register a vehicle, she would not appear on the Secretary of State Information Network. Is that true?
Activity, that's correct.
During your investigation, you testified that you sought out the Secret Service and some other international bodies to help you search for facial recognition and stuff, right?
That's a standard proof of life request, yes, sir.
Okay, and that would be done in any case, anywhere, when you want to determine whether or not somebody's missing, is that right?
Maybe not every case, but that's kind of standard practice for us at the state police, yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to take you back to April of 2021. We're in the middle of COVID, right?
It's during COVID, yeah.
There, I believe at the time there was a federal mandate that you had to wear a mask wherever you went. You agree with that?
If you say so, sir. I don't know the exact dates, yes, sir.
And on ballpark dates, I get it. I'm not asking you for a specific date, but at that time, we all can agree that we were all wearing masks in public places, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if Miss Warner was wearing a mask, how would that have accounted for any facial recognition anywhere?
Are you asking me specifically about border crossing, sir?
Border crossing or anywhere else?
I'm unfamiliar with the practices of people that work, border control, et cetera, security. I would assume they would ask you to remove your mask going through those things, but I can't tell you how they practice their principles, sir.
Fair enough. And Detective Sergeant, in your wealth of experience for many, many years, you've come in contact with what's referred to in lay terms as dark web, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain what the dark web is?
The dark web is loosely known for being able to obtain and or purchase things that are less than legal. So
Okay.
whether it be illegal credit card information, drugs, stolen items, etc.
Driver's license,
In some cases, correct.
passport,
Correct.
and we don't know as we sit here today that Ms. Warner didn't attempt to purchase any of those products, do we?
I can say I found no evidence of her attempting to do that.
Okay, but we, as we sit here today, we don't know that for certain. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Detective Sergeant, we know that she's missing.
Well, Judge,
But-
Judge,
but you-
Judge, I stand to object on this because we're getting equivocal. I thought, if I understood it correctly, and I have the transcript, I have, the objection is he's withdrawn his objection to the petition of why we're here today. He withdrew it and said that he has to concede. So if he says she's missing, that's misleading this court and this record.
Well, Your Honor, up until this court makes a legal determination that she's deceased, she's missing. I do not disagree with what Mr. Flood said. We have withdrawn our objection to the petition. But I'm trying to clarify the evidence and just in my own mind, understand the Detective Sergeant's testimony. If I might go through a few more things, then I'll be done.
The objection is overruled. You make it.
Thank you. Detective Sergeant,
No.
you talked with Mr. Flood about the power of attorney. And you testified earlier that you were not aware of the testimony of the power of attorney, right?
He was referring, I think, to an expert witness, and I was not here for that
Correct.
testimony.
Correct. Okay. So when Mr. Flood says that the signature was fraudulent, that's just based upon what their expert said, right? You don't know the circumstances behind the power of attorney.
Well, I may be misremembering, but he was asking me my investigative opinion, I think, in addition to that, sir.
Okay. Do you know how this power of attorney came about? Through your interviews with anybody, do you know why this power of attorney was dated October 20th, 2014?
My first understanding of the power of attorney surfacing is Dale Warner attempting to gain funds in D. Warner's name at a bank, presenting the document and being rejected.
Okay. Do you know whether or not this durable power of attorney was drafted by an attorney?
I couldn't tell you, sir.
Did anybody ever tell you that it was drafted by an attorney?
I don't believe so, no, sir.
It looks like an attorney's work, that's why I'm asking you. Do you know whether or not there were, strike that, in your investigation of the businesses and B. Warner's disappearance, you were provided copies of operating agreements for the businesses, true?
Again, I think you're saying me, but the investigation was, so the chief
Yes.
said.
Yes.
Singleton of- Yeah,
Yes. And those operating agreements were drafted by attorneys, correct?
I couldn't tell you who drafted them, sir, I wasn't there.
In the course of your investigation, did you ever interview an attorney named Jim Duzema?
I don't believe I spoke with Jim. No.
He would be an attorney in Grand Rapids and he represented the Warners and their businesses. That name's not familiar.
I recognize the name, but I'm not certain I've interviewed him.
Could Detective Singleton have interviewed him?
It's possible. I think I would know if he did.
Okay.
It's perhaps likely or possible that Detective Krecka, my predecessor, interviewed him.
Detective Craig is with the Glenwood County Sheriff's Department.
That's correct.
Okay. Did you ever interview anybody at Yale?
I have not. The investigation has.
Okay, would have been Detective Singleton again.
Correct. And And I don't want to mischaracterize that. I'm not certain it was a formal interview. I think we spoke with them and were provided documents in response to the search warrant.
Okay.
I'm not certain we had a formal sit-down interview with them.
So your analysis of the $125,000 accounted for, with 40,000 being mislabeled, 80,000 missing, and your determination that approximately 71,000 were payments by to K Jewelers and Victoria's Secret, leaving 9,000 missing. That would have come from Ionia, right? Or was that your calculation?
That's our work product.
Your work. How did Ms. Warner get the cash to make the payments on these accounts, if you know?
I'm not certain.
Did anybody at the Warner companies, any of the people that worked in Deanne Warner's office, indicate how she was able to take that cash and pay those bills?
Are you referring to how she would take the cash or how she would obtain the cash? I'm not clear on the question.
How she would obtain the cash and how she would get it and make those payments?
My understanding is she was receiving a formal paycheck. Cash outside of that, there are withdrawals from different accounts and different activities that she was obtaining cash from her accounts.
Are you aware that Deanne Warner had an off-book bank account at TCF Bank?
I am.
Okay, and do you know what that account was used for specifically?
I don't know if it was used for a specific thing.
Okay. Can you suggest things that might have been paid for using that account?
I don't want to get ahead of you here. If you're getting to the lake house, I think that was one of the uses of the accounts. Is that what you're getting at?
No, but that's fine. Was it used to purchase?
So it's blurry around those two because that's just how the background program works. It has nothing to do with them or anything around them. It's like you can only, when you use a blur background, you have to be within so many inches of the camera. And he's more inches back. So it blurs everything in the background. He moved from focal point to background when he sits back like that. That's all that means. So I found out more information that might help us make sense of all this. At this point in time, I believe that so this is after she was murdered but before she was found. So what's going on is her estate, she has to pay bills and things like that that she's not been doing. So one of the family members started a case in probate court so that they can handle her estate, get her money and pay bills. And when that happens, they have to appoint a conservatorship, and that case was appealed. So Judge Sala or someone else appointed a conservator, and that was appealed. And then the probate case to declare her dead, which later turned out to be not needed. So, but she did. It looks like the first probate, it looks like this has been probated a couple times. I know. Even when you're dead, they want their money. But, there was an appeal from one of Judge Sala's rulings. And I don't know what the appeal means. It's from this case right here. We're watching a case that is about to be appealed. But Judge Sala's rulings in the end stand. I don't know if I think the first time the judge did not declare her dead. But then she did later. In 2024, she declares her dead. But I think this time she does not declare her dead, and then it gets appealed, and then her ruling stands. And then in 2024, she does declare her dead. So even if a person's missing, though, and this is why, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see. Well, I hope you can see this. This is why I'm saying this. Because look at this appeal. In conservatorship of DAW. If she was declared dead in probate, this would be for the estate of, not conservatorship for. You know what I mean? Conservatorship is for people who are missing or unable to handle their own finances, but not dead. Dead means estate. So I think she did not declare him dead, or her dead. She appointed a conservator, and then this appeal is the family either complaining that she's not declared dead, or complaining about who the conservatorship went to. And that's what we're watching. That's what we're trying to, that's what we're seeing.
Just jewelry used to purchase other products?
I'm not familiar with exact purchases made from it. If it was cash from the account, I wouldn't know what the cash was applied to. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. And we could just check the check registry or the register of transactions and determine that. So I'm not going to get into that with you, but you are aware that this TCF account was only her account?
That's my understanding. I think her son Zach may have been on it at one point, but I'm not certain.
Okay. You testified earlier that Miss Warner's spending habits at K Jewelers were pretty vigorous, right?
I think I use the terms regular or consistent or something to reflect that. Yeah.
Okay, and do you know how long and over what course of time?
Yay, JK, thank
she
you
made
so
these
much.
purchases?
11 months.
I believe we
Thank
have
you.
records that go back
Gonna be a year
to
soon.
perhaps 2015, but prior to, and this is off memory, sir, forgive me, prior to 2017 or 16, there's less information obtained within, just based off of time. I think they lost some of the data.
Did you ever interview?
Actually, can I go back?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Of course you
There's-
can.
To not overcomplicate things, there are Comenity credit card records that are a reflection of K Jewelers, so I may be mixing information from one or the other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Comenity is a credit card servicer for that.
Right. Did you ever interview Ms. Coswell?
Terry, thank
I have
you.
not.
11 months as well, almost a year. Thank you, thank you.
There was some testimony earlier about this phone that with Dee's phone number and the phone, and I was confused, and I just want to go over that for a couple seconds and just clarify for myself what that was. So Dee's phone number was never turned off, right? In other words, from the date of her missing, even though there was no calls made, the phone number was still working, right?
Actively serviced through Verizon?
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Okay. And so from your testimony earlier, there were no calls either coming in or going out on that period of time until law enforcement asked Dale Warner to make a call. Is that true?
That information is not correct and your portrayal is not correct.
Okay, help me out.
So there were calls incoming, for instance, her children looking for her, perhaps.
Okay.
And then law enforcement did not ask Dale Warner to do anything. Dale Warner asked law enforcement if he could obtain a phone and put the phone number on it.
Okay. And do you know what purpose he wanted to do that? Was it toward the businesses?
That was his explanation to the sheriff's department, is my understanding.
Okay, because the businesses, bless you, because some of the vendors at some of the accounts for some of the businesses utilize that number, isn't that true?
One of the primary phone numbers for the business, right?
Okay, now it's clear. So Mr. Warner wanted to use that number because it was frequently used in the business prior to her disappearance.
I don't know what he was thinking, but
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I get it now. All right, let's go to the SBA loan for a minute. Do you know what the circumstances were behind obtaining the SBA loan?
No.
Did you ever talk to the SBA about how they process a PPP loan?
No, we've received some records from them, but I've never spoken to someone. No, sir.
Okay, and it's all digital, isn't it?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. There's no hand signatures on a PPP loan, right?
I have no idea, sir.
Would that have been something that you would have read or investigated as a part of looking into the SBA loan?
Whether or not there's wet signatures?
Yeah,
No, I have not. I have no information about that, sir. No.
okay. Do you know whether or not it was Dale Warner that requested the SBA loan, that applied for it?
I'm not sure how I would know that, sir.
Okay, so as you sit here today, you don't know whether or not Dale Warner or anyone else applied for it, you just know that there was an SBA, right?
I think that the records would indicate that he was the one that would apply, as he's the one that received the funds.
Okay, but you don't know the circumstances behind whether or not an operating agreement of the business or a power of attorney or the advice of counsel, another attorney, such as Jim Duzman, might have suggested that that was an appropriate way to make a loan application. Would you?
I'm not sure what you're asking me. I'm sorry.
Okay. So when somebody makes an SBA loan, you call the SBA, you say, I want to borrow some money. Okay. The SBA says, okay, what's the money going to be used for? And then they investigate whether or not you're in a position to obtain the loan, whether or not you have sufficient collateral, business, whatever. Fair? Okay. In this case, when the loan was applied for, you don't know whether or not a business operating agreement or an other business document.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I believe that this witness already testified he has no knowledge surrounding the actual document for the SBA loan.
Lack of personal knowledge, any response?
I testified that he had seen the loan for $1.5 million. I just wanted to know if you knew whether or not there was any information that was contained in the loan.
Information like what?
Who signed it, what was based on. I mean, if the operating agreement allowed somebody involved in the business to make the loan, then it was a perfectly reasonable loan.
He stated he didn't see
Yeah,
signatures.
He didn't see the operating agreement. Judge, the document has already been entered into evidence as it relates to the loan documents. So who signed it allegedly?
I'll overrule the objection. He's done a nice job of letting us know what he's seen and what he hasn't. So I think your witness can handle it. May proceed.
Okay. Detective, in your investigation, when you were looking at the financial records, how far back did you go to look at those records? 5 years, 10 years?
I have a good working knowledge of the finances going back to 2016. And to be clear, sir, we spoke of the concert of my partner and I. This is his ballpark. So I have a working knowledge of it, but he's the man behind the numbers.
Do you know whether or not he looked at specific accounts and whether or not specific things were paid for by Ms. Warner or not paid for by Ms. Warner?
Sir, did you not just hear what he said? Ask him. Put him on the stand.
Payroll taxes or things like that?
When
Yeah,
do we
I
speak
don't-
of, as far as a time frame, Judge?
I also don't believe that it's relevant. This witness has testified that there was activity, and then after her disappearance, there was not activity. I don't believe the specific activity while she was still around is relevant at this point.
Would you like to respond?
No. She's your client. I mean, that's fine. I'll move on, Judge.
Okay.
Detective Sergeant, did you meet with any of these children within the course of the investigation?
And you have these children, I'm sorry?
Yes, these adult children.
Yes, sir, all of them.
Okay. And when did you meet with them and how many times?
I'm sure I met with them prior to us taking the case on full time. After that point, we began meeting with them for formal interviews in person, and I want to say it's October or November of last year. I've seen them numerous times subsequently, but for our formal interview was
Hi, Walter.
last fall, last winter.
Okay, and was there a standard set of questions that you asked each of the individual kids?
I don't believe our question could be standard, no, sir. It depends on the person, what we believe they may have known, where they were at the time, et cetera.
Okay. And so you interviewed Zach, you interviewed TJ, you interviewed Raquel, and you interviewed Amber. Were they all interviewed individually or together?
Everybody was interviewed individually.
Did you ever interview Greg Hardy?
I've spoken with Greg Hardy a number of times. I'm not certain I've done a formal interview in that capacity, sir.
Where were the interviews conducted with the children?
We typically use Saline Police Department.
Were there any notes taken of those interviews?
How is this relevant, Your Honor? Objection relevant.
I think it's relevant. Mr. Flood, this is cross-examination of a lead witness in your case. I'm just curious as to what he discussed with the children
Well,
of the person that's missing.
and I go back to the previous objection, Judge, as it relates to an ongoing investigation.
Objection is overruled. He may answer questions about the contents of this investigation. And again, I trust our detective sergeant to understand his own boundaries around an ongoing investigation. So we'll let him handle that question.
Thank you. In terms of your questioning them, did you question them on things that related directly to their mother or the circumstances between their mother and other people, or both?
Both.
Do you recall any conversations about a woman named Amy Alexander?
I don't know how much I spoke to other people about Amy Alexander, but I've spoken to Amy Alexander.
Okay, you had conducted an interview with her?
Yeah, I've spoken to her several times, yes, sir.
Did you ever discuss anything with any of these adult children about any of these finances and whether or not she lent them or gave them any money?
Yes,
And how extensive were those conversations? Were they ever asked to produce any documents to substantiate anything they were telling you?
I'm unsure. I'm unsure if I've asked them to produce documents at this point. And my uncertainty is because I know I have the documents. I'm not sure if they gave them to us or we acquired them through a search warrant or other means. If that answers your question, sir.
I think it does, and I'm not going to delve into too much of that detail today. Did you ever interview Billy Little?
No,
And you know who Billy Little is?
unfortunately.
Okay. Can you just tell me who he is?
I have a vague understanding of, he's perhaps a self-described private investigative attorney, is I guess the fairest way of representing him.
But he's not a Michigan attorney, is that true?
I have no idea.
And it's your testimony, you haven't talked to him other than just briefly?
He met with the sheriff's department. I was there. I was kind of a formal contact, but otherwise it's been informal in passing.
Okay. And did you obtain any of the results from the sheriff's department? That was included with everything else they gave you, right?
If I can back up, I was a part of that meeting also.
Okay.
So I don't know what you're referring to, receive something, but
So when the sheriff's department transferred the case to the Michigan State Police, is the sheriff's department involved in this case at all anymore, or?
no, sir.
Okay, so they transferred everything to you guys, and now you and Detective Sergeant Singleton
sorry, are leading this investigation, and it's up to you as to what moves forward from there.
Yes, sir.
And that was done as of March last year, 2022.
No, sir.
And when was that done?
First week of August, I think, maybe the second week of August last year. March is when we started assisting from the sidelines, but
I see. And by assisting, you got up to speed, so you learned a little bit about what they were doing, and then you and your partner took over the investigation in August of 2022.
correct. Yes, sir.
Couple additional questions. When Mr. Flood went through exhibits 22 and 23 with you, the ProMedica records and the Henry Ford Health Systems records, and the Blue Cross Blue Shield records, I think that was 24. You testified that you noticed that Deanne Warner had chronic conditions for migraines, neck and back problems. She sought counseling and had a primary care doctor and dentist, and that she was being treated for these chronic illnesses, right?
To be clear, sir, I think I had learned of that elsewhere and confirmed them with those documents.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
fair enough. And you were aware that she was taking a laundry list of medications as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were
I'm
you
not sure I
ever,
agree with the term laundry list, but I'm on board. I understand.
you know how many drugs?
I couldn't tell you, but there were several drugs that were consistent.
Okay. And a lot of them too, right?
A lot is your term, sir. I'm not sure I would characterize it that way.
Okay. When you went to visit the Warner home, did Dale Warner ever provide you a list or show you all of the pill bottles that have been prescribed in these names?
I don't think he has ever shown me that, no, sir.
So your reference of the medications came from ProMedica, Henry Ford, or Blue Cross, or CVS, where the prescription was on file at the time of her disappearance.
There are other avenues that I have that information.
Okay. Can you share those, or you can't?
No, I can't. I just
Okay.
didn't, I don't want to get.
Yeah,
too far
and
ahead of it.
where else would you have found that information?
In searching the residence, I'm familiar with where her prescriptions were stored in a certain cabinet. I also know of investigative videos and photos of the like previously to
Okay.
becoming involved. And there is a resource law enforcement uses to see the prescriptions that are prescribed to an individual. So you can perform a query, like if I were to come in contact with you on the street and you had numerous prescription pills,
Yeah.
I can run a query and see if you have those legitimately or not.
Fair enough. There was a question about a Premier bank account. Do you know whether or not that bank account is still in existence?
I believe so, but I'm not certain.
If I told you it was closed 9 months ago by the state of Michigan, and it was pursuant to a subpoena that Mr. Olderman sent the other day, you'd be okay with that?
Oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry, sir. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I have nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Any other cross-examination, counselors?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Detective Sergeant, I'm Mr. McFarland. I'm the attorney guardian ad litem for Deanne Warner.
Closer.
Is it okay if I address you as Detective Sergeant?
Detective's fine, sir.
Detective, okay, thanks. Part of what I do is I'm here to present to the court what I believe is in the best interest of Deanne Warner. And I know that you have said that your belief is that she's deceased, correct?
Well, I don't want to muddy the water, sir, but my investigation has led us to believe that she is
Thank you.
deceased.
And I'm sure your investigation would also involve a possibility of her being abducted, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you Can you explain what you did to rule out abduction?
Everything.
What does that consist of?
I can't go into too great a detail, sir, but
Fine.
essentially there
Everything. Come
are
on.
only so many ways a person could be physically abducted. So I use the word physical intentionally.
Okay.
Having come to know of Dee Warner as a person, there would have been a physical abduction. You're not escorting her to a van. So without signs that would indicate that type of anomaly, or signs after the fact, such as a ransom or demands, or the discovery of her body somewhere because there was no ransom or demands, or a person being guilty of a similar party act in the area admitting to such a crime. Those are the ways you would typically find an abductor, so to speak.
And I would assume that on investigations, neighbors are asked and cameras are surveyed in the area to see if there was any suspicious activity, such as a vehicle to transport somebody in an abduction. Would that be an accurate general statement?
Yes, in addition to that, there are numerous means of detecting electronic devices in certain areas to determine, for instance, if you and I are out to lunch and we say someone perpetrated a crime against us, there should only be 3 devices there. If that makes sense.
Sure. Okay. So basically, your professional opinion is that you can rule out abduction. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely.
Thank you. That helps me. And if you can't answer this, let me know, because I'm not sure what your constraints are, but are there suspects as far as her missing?
Are you asking if there's a suspect for her murder?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you reveal that?
Dale Warner?
Thank you. Is there anybody else who is the suspect in her murder?
Not a viable one, no, sir.
What do you, I don't know the terminology when you use viable, what do you mean by that?
For instance, I can't give a specific one, but if I were to receive an anonymous tip saying you should talk to so-and-so because he didn't like Dee Warner. So those types of tips have been received and vetted thoroughly. So every investigative avenue to eliminate Dale Warner and find another culprit has been executed, unfortunately, to no avail.
Thank you. My understanding is there were no signs of forced entry. Would that be correct?
So you're referring to the Munger Road residence? That's
Correct, at the Munger Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I know we've seen the YouTube videos, and so we know that there exists some type of video surveillance on the Munger Road property, correct?
Yes,
You have viewed those, correct?
correct.
Nothing would reveal to you there's been an abduction, correct? Based upon your.
Nothing from that video would imply or show that a unknown third party abducted Dee Warner.
Thank you. Okay. By that, I think what you're perhaps saying but not saying is that it's a possibility that Dale Warner could have had something to do with her missing, correct?
So I've labeled him as a suspect. I'm not going to get into.
That's fine. Okay, yep, I appreciate that. If you can, and I don't know if this is a parameter that I can't ask, but can you explain how you determined that Dee Warner did not obtain anything from the dark web? I know there's a question asked about her obtaining, let's say, a fake passport or something like that.
At the risk of sounding cute, sir,
Yeah.
I think you could obtain a passport on the dark web.
I've never been on the dark web, so I have no idea. You know, we all watch TV shows. I don't know what's reality and what's not.
So access to it has to be permitted by people that are currently on the dark web.
Okay.
So in doing so, there would be a digital footprint of that access. Additionally, if you could find the means to then purchase something off the dark web by means of probably some sort of cryptocurrency, there would yet again be a digital footprint of that usage. Separately, probably, this is my opinion, I guess, in some approximation, 85% of what you purchase on the dark web is not what you think you are purchasing. For instance, for probably $100, I could go on there, or someone in my position could go on there and purchase 100 credit card numbers with a last name and birth date. assuming I could use that fraudulently. Probably less than 20% of those are viable or useful. Does that make sense? So most of what you're buying is from another criminal that's going to give you something that isn't what you want anyhow. So the likelihood of someone in Dee Warner's position who can, forgive me, but barely use their own phone, going onto the dark web to purchase a viable passport or driver's license with no means, I'm sorry, but it's laughable.
What do you mean by barely using her own phone? I don't know what that means.
Her ability with technology wasn't the greatest, sir.
I appreciate that.
By no disrespect to her, but
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. Is there any evidence of large withdrawals by Dee Warner after the 4/25/21 disappearance date? Any withdrawals by her personally?
none.
I believe. No, there's no evidence that she cashed any checks after 4/25/21 either, correct?
Correct.
That's all I have. Thank you for your information.
Ms. Berger?
I just have a few, Your Honor. Detective, you testified that in relation to the Secret Service documents, that there has been no activity related to Ms. Warner's passport or her name and photo. Is that correct?
Correct. If I could further clarify, that type of query is conducted in a search for, I'm hoping to find that record. So I want anything and everything that would suggest her presence somewhere physically. And that was not discovered.
And that would, that search includes, for instance, if her photo was used with a different name,
Exactly,
or if her name was used with somebody else's photo.
precisely.
And those things didn't come up either way, correct?
That's accurate, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in relation to the Verizon phone that you testified about, was this phone eventually shut off?
I'm unclear on whether or not it maintained active service. As recently as this past late winter or spring, the business, air quotes, the business was utilizing that phone number again. I'm unsure if it maintained continuous activity since then.
And what do you mean by using that phone number?
In the course of our regular investigation, I'm monitoring that phone number. And it appeared to, again, have usage, and I was then informed by someone from the family that, oh, we're using it again for the business. That makes sense.
Do you know if it's being made to make calls or receive calls?
I think at the time there weren't very many records, and I think it was a variety of both.
And you have investigated several of these types of cases, is that correct?
This case is unique, but numerous homicides and missing people, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And during those investigations, do people's loved ones generally shut off those phones? Do they leave them on? What do they do with them if they have them?
In a situation where someone's leaving willingly, ma'am, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Their phone would usually be kept on, or immediately upon leaving, a secondary number would be created so they continue contact with their other loved ones or family.
And in investigations where the person has not left voluntarily?
In investigations where the person has not left voluntarily, typically the phone will remain active until people have different means. If a family can't continue to pay that phone bill, it may have service shut off. If that makes sense.
It does. And you testified briefly to the power of attorney that was attempted to be used to gain access to a bank account. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
And what bank account was this, if you're aware?
You have to forgive me, ma'am. I can't recall if it was Premier or if it was the credit union,
Okay.
but it was one of the two. I'm sorry.
And do you know what specific account that was attempted to use to access?
It was an account in solely in Dee Warner's name.
Okay. And did that access work?
No, ma'am.
Do you know why?
The bank teller, to my understanding, had at least a suspicion that the signature was not Dee Warner's and therefore rejected the use of the power of attorney.
Okay. And are you aware if that account still exists today?
I'm unsure. I had my memory refreshed earlier that the conservator may have closed some of those accounts. I'm not certain if that was one of them.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Wilhelm?
Yes, Your Honor, just a couple.
Oh, sure.
Sorry. Yes, Yes, good afternoon. Well, close to it.
Ma'am,
I'm the guardian ad litem for Angelina Warner. That's my position here today. So I just want to ask you a couple of questions about your investigative finding that Diaz-Dad. So I heard your testimony today, and that finding was based on the things that you testified today to the court about the absence of uses of insurance and the absence of using up of checking accounts, the absence of buying stuff and getting passports. Is that correct?
in a way, ma'am, my testimony today is a reflection of her life, not necessarily of the circumstances of her death. Does that make sense?
It does. And so you're finding that she is dead is based on no proof of life. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. That would be my finding for her to be deceased, not for the method or means in which she died.
Okay, but you did testify today that she is dead.
Yeah, and again, I'm not playing cute.
No,
wanna
I
make sure you
know,
understand.
you're fine. And I'm just trying to get to what you base that on. And I'm wondering if there was anything outside of your testimony today that helped to lead you to that finding.
That's a good question, ma'am. So my testimony today to reflect her, whether or not she's alive is probably, I would venture to say 2% of the findings of the investigation. So the finding of the investigation that would suggest that she's not alive is overwhelmingly in support of the fact that that her death was within a criminal element. Does that make sense?
Okay, are you at liberty to discuss any of those?
No, ma'am.
All right, so your testimony then is that 2% basically is the no proof of life
That's
that we
correct.
discussed today.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the bulk of what went into your finding, you're not at liberty to talk about today.
Due to the criminal element, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Okay, I'll redirect.
Just briefly.
Well, let me ask you this, are we gonna be able to conclude by noon, or should we plan on inviting our detective back after lunch?
I have 4 questions to ask after he's done.
Then I probably suggest we go to lunch, Judge,
Right?
because 4 questions is gonna take more than 10 minutes.
How many questions do you have?
Not many. I don't know, about 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you want to continue, I don't have a problem.
All right, Judge.
I'd like to try to see if we can get.
Sure,
this tested.
sure. I'll try to be quick.
Having a great time, Judge.
Thank you. Good, all right, well. We'll see how this goes.
Did you say that was? Detective Sergeant, I just have a few questions. When I asked you your opinion on Dee Warner, you had indicated unequivocally that your investigation, she is dead, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you dead in a homicide investigation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Homicide is defined by an unnatural cause of death. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
You have been working through this case with the team. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And to give the court some, just to make the record clear, your team consists of your resources at the Michigan State Police,
And then some. Yes, sir.
outside of the Michigan State Police, yes?
Correct.
Special agencies,
Yes, sir.
both federal and state.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And over a period of time, I think you said sometime in March of last year, or of this year,
March of last year.
last year?
We started helping in August was full time for us. Yes, sir.
I see, August of 2022.
Correct.
So that's coming up to a year.
I think we just hit a year. Yes, sir.
And in some investigations, that's a nanosecond, fair to say?
Correct.
But in this investigation, if you had to give this court, because not everyone's familiar with criminal investigations, if you had to give
a bird's eye view of the man hours, power, resources, money that went in to formulate your team's opinion that this is a homicide. Could you give the court some estimation?
That would be very difficult, but I could explain briefly some of the resources that would help, sir.
Sure, I think that would help to give us an understanding how in-depth this is.
I personally probably work an average of 50 hours a week, sometimes, on this case specifically, up to 80 hours a week. I have been on nothing but this investigation since last August. My partner, who has a similar schedule, has been on nothing but this investigation since last August. We have a third detective who has been on this case about 80% of the time up until June. Now he's on it maybe 10% of the time for other reasons not related to the case. Separate than that, we conducted, I've probably written over 100 search warrants, sir. We've searched 4,000 acres with over 120 people in a matter of a few days. I couldn't begin to tell you the money that this has cost.
You've mentioned 3 people, multiple searches.
I'm having a hard time even categorizing. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss to.
But the gravamen of of this investigation, you've come to this opinion. I'm just trying to get an understanding. This wasn't on a whim with 1 or 2 investigators. This is a year of investigation with hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, into this resource for you to make a determination, is what you're telling the court.
That's accurate, yes, sir.
I've looked through the bank records of what we've had and it's submitted, and have you had the opportunity to look to see after after April 24th, how fast money was being attempted to be converted in one way or the other?
I'm gonna object to this. He hasn't said who, where, what. Mr. Flood, don't testify, just ask a question.
I just asked.
Whoa.
My objection is he's testifying for the witness.
No, I just asked if he had come to find out when money, how soon thereafter the missing of April 24th, that date, started being changed or converted, if you know.
There's been no suggestion that any money was converted or changed. I'm
Well,
not sure where
let
this-
me ask you this question. Did you come to find out if any money had been changing from D. Warner or the like we just talked about, the power of attorney and that process? Did you come to find out about any other information regarding conversion or trying to get money from D. Warner's accounts? And if you can't get into that, I understand.
Money and other resources, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to pause it there for today. These lawyers need to go outside and just, rock 'em, sock 'em, row by each other. And we'll pick it back up tomorrow. I am going to start OJ and then sleep on my day off. Ha! Guys, thank you so much for coming out today. I really, really, really appreciate it. This case is wild. Ugh. I love that too, T. Just stay away. Just stay in the corner. All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, I thought I'd write a happy song. I found a chat room where I belong. You don't know how much it means to me. such a groove, I'm less lonely. Oh, Kathy's the creator, she's leading the way. At Court Vibes, we laugh and we stay. Her smile shines bright, she's got that grace. Come join the fun, it's a welcome and play. I can count on distraction from my pain, 'cause this creator takes you there and back again. Kathy is the heart here, always in stride. Her work is hard, but her joy she can't hide. Oh, Kathy's the creator, she's leading the way. At Court Vibes, we laugh and we stay. Her style is classy, she's always top shelf. Don't take my word, come and see for yourself. Her cases are new with a twist or two. I really like them, I believe you will too. A little lifeline passed along in rhyme. Why don't you join us? It's a guaranteed good time. Oh, Kathy's the creator, she's leading the way. At Court Vibes, we laugh and we stay. Her smile shines bright, she's got that grace. Come join the fun, it's a welcoming place. And so in conclusion, I'll wrap up this song. I hope I didn't miss anything that would be wrong. Hope I see you around. Don't stay on the shelf, join in the laughter. Come and see for yourself.